Well, thanks very much for having me. You thought this was going to be a serious talk, but it's not. So we'll start off with a good picture of Doug there. I can use that too. Perfect. Great. So, Doug, in honor of you, this talk was assembled entirely in business class on international flights, one of them coming into your home airport of Toronto Pearson, and on Star Alliance Airlines. And I did use AI to help make this look a little fancy, all right? So it's time to celebrate a little bit, right? So I was thinking back to the first time that I really remembered interacting with Doug in a meaningful way. I knew of Doug for a number of years, but we went to dinner. I don't know if you remember this, and I think some of my details are a bit hazy, but we went to the Cheval Blanc. This was in Montreal, Canada, at an ACI CanMet conference, I believe, in 2006. And it was a rather intimidating group. I was in graduate school at that time, and Doug was there, Mike Thomas was there, Chris Rogers, I believe, was there. It was quite an extensive group of folks. A lot of people, representatives from the cement industry. Nick, you may have been there. I think you were. Larry, I'm not sure if you were there. And it was a really, really lovely evening. And it started out at the bar, and we went up to the bar, and I ordered a martini, Doug ordered a martini, and we just really hit it off over martinis. We may have had a second or third. But I will say one of the interesting things about this industry, as a graduate student, this was a rather expensive evening. It was a steakhouse, and the seafood tower came, and then the steaks came. And I really was like, I don't know if I have enough money in my bank account to cover my portion of this. And I was really, really panicked. But at the end of dinner, I know it was J.C. Romaine, and I believe Al Ennis picked up the dinner and split it. And it was a really, really kind gesture, and it really stuck out to me as, a nice thing that was done for us. So, Doug, that was one of my first memories.
My trick is when the bill comes to look at your shoes.
That's a good engineering trick, right? The extroverted engineer looks at somebody else's shoes, right? So the things that I've learned is that Doug likes to have fun. He loves to laugh. He loves a good martini because it has alcohol in it. And on that note, I think a martini sounds really, really good. So maybe Thano and April can come up and give me a bit of a hand. For like, what, 4 sessions today, all in honor of you? You need a beverage, my friend. Okay. So I got my help, so thanks very much. And there's a little bit up here still for Thano and April. I don't know where they disappeared to. So what could possibly be cuter and fuzzier and sweeter than Dougie? It's a koala bear, of course, right? And what is RILEM? Because this talk has something to do with RILEM, right? I'm really glad you're wondering, so we're going to get there. Anybody know what RILEM is? A few folks? Yeah, quite a few folks do, so that's good. So it's the International Union of Laboratories and Experts in Construction Materials, Systems and Structures, and I pulled a little bit of information off of their website. So the mission of the association is to advance free access scientific knowledge related to construction materials, systems, and structures, and to encourage transfer and application of this knowledge worldwide. And then they go on to talk about their goals. And certainly one of their goals is to promote sustainable and safe construction and improve performance and cost benefit for society. In summary, I sort of think of RILEM as like a pre-standardization organization. They are documents that technical committees generate and make, and then countries can adopt those. Right now, CEN is working on adopting a number of RILEM standards as they're moving toward performance-based specifications, as Dr. Hover talked to us about earlier today. So what about Doug's contributions to RILEM? So fortunately, Ted shared your CV with me, so I could pull all of the technical details. You were a member since 2000. Oh, I think people can hear me, Larry.
No, you're being recorded.
Ah, sorry. I don't think I gave my permission to be recorded, though. So, member since 2000. And if you search in Doug's CV, there are 72 hits for the word RILEM. So this is another organization that Doug has clearly given a lot of outstanding contributions to over the years. He served on 25 different technical committees. That's tremendous. He served on 4 RILEM board-level committees. He was chair of the Educational Activities Committee. And I thought you were chair of TAC. A little bird said you were chair, but on your CV it says a member.
No, I've never been on TAC.
Oh, you better check your CV. Because it says you were.
My colleague Don Panisar is the chair of TAC.
As the chair, yeah, but you've been a member of TAC. Yep, RILEM.
So, TAC of RILEM, not TAC of ACI.
Not TAC of ACI, no, but TAC of RILEM.
You want TAC of RILEM? No.
We're going to have to check your CV.
Oh, it was more, it's called MAC or DAC.
Okay, we'll check it out afterward.
Is that AI?
It is the AI. So in 2015, he was elected as a fellow of RILEM. In 2022, he was elected as an honorary member of RILEM for outstanding technical contributions to the advancement of science and dedication to the RILEM Association. Most recently, in 2022, he was a co-author that received the Outstanding Paper Award from the Editorial Board of Materials and Structures, and this is really related to reactivity testing, to this R3 test, so validation of the R3 reactivity test across a wide range of materials. And you can see that's a quite extensive list of co-authors there, but that's quite common for RILEM with these sort of technical activity committees where you have a large group of people working to advance what the documents are for RILEM and to advance their standards efforts. So on the ASR side of things, I mean, this is certainly one of the ways that I know Doug very, very well. We're currently working together on TC 301 related to ASR, and this is risk assessment of concrete mixtures, concrete mixture designs with alkali silica reactive aggregates. Doug is co-chair of one of our special committee groups, and I'll show you what the breakdown of this looks like. And in the past, he's been involved in 2 former technical activity committees as well. At RILEM, these technical committees have a lifespan. They typically are 5 years. They can go a little bit longer than that, but they're typically 5-year lifespans. So you can see the current one here. So in work package 1, Doug is actually co-leading task 2 along with Ardalan Ghanizadeh, one of Mike Thomas's former PhD students. And so in that task, they're looking at assessing alkali aggregate reactivity on the basis of concrete composition, including SEMs. So, you know, Doug has really stayed active in RILEM, and especially in this arc of making contributions to the ASR community, and is really continuing to do so. So, like I said, this talk is not going to be too terribly serious, and I'm going to do our best to get us back on time as well. But I wanted to have a few words on Doug's presence. You know, I remember the way that Mike Thomas spoke about you, and you guys had a healthy competition, I think. But I would say that, you know, one of the things Mike said about you very early on is that you were an excellent experimentalist, and he could trust any data that came from your lab. And that really resonated with me. You know, that was a high compliment and praise coming from Mike. We've had dinner at Doug and Barb's house, so thanks for having us over. Thanks for, you know, always entertaining us and hanging out with us. And for me, you've always watched out for me in my career, and I really appreciate that. Not so much in a direct mentor way, but you've just always sort of been there to lend an ear, to help give some advice, to be a friend, and to have a lot of fun. I was thinking back when I was chair of C950, you were secretary. I don't remember how that happened. Did I ask you? Did you ask me? We must have done it over a martini. Ancient history. But it was really great to have someone with so much expertise be there beside me as I was sort of learning the ropes at ASTM, and I'm still learning the ropes at ASTM, of course. But it was really, really excellent to have his guidance and mentorship and his technical savvy as part of what can be sometimes a challenging group dealing with ASR. So Doug, what I say is I think we have a fun ship. It's never too serious, but I can always count on you for a great technical discussion or a drink. So cheers. That's more just because I'm thirsty. And as we know, Doug is present at a lot of different events. So this is Ideker in Austin in 2012. There's some familiar faces there. We were able to get pretty much everybody eating. So you've got Doug there on the right. You've got Chris Rogers. Is Chris here? I haven't seen Chris yet today. No, I don't think Chris is here today. Fred Aguayo, a very early young Fred. And then Benoit there on the side. As I said, you've been present and been really supportive. I organized this workshop called the Corvallis Workshops, along with Karen Scrivener and Anthony Bentavania, and you came out, you did a hike with us. We got out to one of our favorite restaurants there off the coast of Newport, and you even managed to get in some games on our yard with Karen Scrivener, so we can get these folks out of the standards organizations and into having some fun too. This was a really great one at the LMC 100-year anniversary and Karen's birthday, but you can see a great group there and a little shot of Doug with Karen in the background eating in a very, very swelteringly hot room. And a little bit more recently, the last Ideker there, you've got Barb and Doug, Soleil, who's there, Thano, a number of folks that you can see sort of scattered around in the background there, Stephanie from the Army Corps. So always a good time with the group, right? And during the pandemic, we got together for happy hours because why the heck not, right? And we had a good time doing that to just sort of stay in touch. So, Doug, I'm going to give this talk 2 thumbs up from 2 pretty funny guys. We know who has your back. It's your lovely wife. And we'll wrap up with just a few final comments. So Doug loves a good joke, or 2. He loves cats, at least 3. I think that was the maximum you had at one time. He loves a good drink, or X plus 1. A structural engineer once said that it wasn't a good talk if you didn't have an equation in it. So for the stodgy structural engineers, there's your equation. No, that's the star to make sure I told the story about having an equation. And if you follow Doug on social media, like Instagram, you know that he loves a good meme. So we'll end with all of the above. Thanks so much, Doug.